Should be recording. Okay. All right. Welcome everybody to our very first poetry book fair. Considering the fact that we're getting ready to go into the holiday season, and what better gift to buy than a book for somebody? I think poetry books are perfect gifts, and I tend to give them any more than anything else. So anyway, but welcome everyone. And I'm not going to be too formal here. And oh, there's a baby. You're going to lose me now because there's a baby.
Oh,
Hi. Hi. She's adorable.
look at
She's
that smile.
smiling. They're the youngest garden member now. Yeah.
Um,
But I want to provide an opportunity for those of us who have poetry books to talk about their book. You read a poem, if you have more than one book, read a poem from each book. If you feel like it, nobody's going to be forcing anybody to do anything here. But anyway, and the first person that showed up in the room that was on our list of presenters is Cheryl. So Cheryl, you want to tell us about your, and I have the screen that you can share, ready to share if anybody wants to share a screen. But if you want to talk about your book or books, I know you have more than one book. And
yeah, I have three, but I think all of them are special, but I for different reasons. The first one was different sides of the same coin. That was special because we compiled this during my dad being ill and sick, and we were able to get it published for him before he died. So that one is special for that reason. And then our second book, we were actually all stuck inside the house during COVID when that went down in 2020, but we were taking care of him. And he was actually dying of cancer, which is the second book. That's Mirrored Images. That's the second one. But my favorite book of the three that we did, which is a trio, which is all like telling the same story of sisterhood, family, grief, illness, resilience, is our last book that's out now, which is a lyrical dance party. We kind of went back to our happy spot of remembering what's good in life, which are your parents, the love that you remember that they gave you, the house that they provided for you, the words that comforted you, that they spoke to you when you were just broken. And so the third book is Poems in the Key of Life. And that's the book that I love because it's just a tribute to family and joy, things that bring you joy, that make you happy, dancing and music, and just all of the good times of our coming of age when we were in college, coming out of college and graduating college and having our first apartments away from mom and dad. And that's what this book is. It was just joyful. It was joyful to write it. It was joyful to remember the good, the awful, the bad, and the ugly of just after COVID of having to take care of a dying parent, have to empty out 40 years of living in a house that your parents built and shared, packing up all those memories and life. It's just, it's hard. And so those are the three books that we have. And I did put the links in the chat. So there, I provided the links, which I never do, but I kind of put them in there. So my sister is who all these books were written with. She's my favorite writer. Everybody here knows that I absolutely adore her. I love her. She is my Maya Angelou. She is my Lucille Clifton. She is my Zan John. She's just everything. So she's who I read when I'm down. And this is called Honey, Graham Crackers, and Swiss Miss Cocoa.
I love
And
this one.
it's two by two, me and you, two by two, and all we do. Two by two, no me without you. You're my every breath, the other half of myself. Our parents had us in sets of two, side by side, in all we do. Every day of my life has been spent, me loving you. Wonder Twins activate in laughter, love, tears, and joy. Two by two, side by side. In all we do, there's no me without you. And that's that poem.
Thank you.
That's beautiful, Cheryl.
Thanks, Jill.
I love that. My husband and I read that 2 nights ago. That was we were reading your book, and that's one that we both really loved.
I'm reading now from the second book, which is Mirrored Images. This was the COVID, what I call the COVID manual that got us through COVID. But I'm reading from this one. I'm going to read. Oh boy, I was hoping to find one of my sisters, and I can't. Let me see. He has so many good ones. Okay. This is called The Hidden Ones. We are the hidden one, hidden from time, uprooted, displaced, and renamed. But how is it in our invisibility, everyone is watching, watching what we do, what we think, what we say, and where we go. We are the most imitated, most appropriated, and yes, the most hated. From the Kremlin and over the Great Wall of China, all through Timbuktu, back to the shores of America, people want to walk like us, talk like us, look like us, and be like us. But they don't understand. No, they just don't get it. You can hide a light under a bushel, but it's still going to shine. I love that. I love that poem for so many reasons. um, and I have a haiku, which is so appropriate for right now. How red the blood flows, staining asphalt, life pours out. Black lives wonder why. And from this book, which is the current book, I have to do this one in homage to my mother because I carry her with me everywhere I go in my spirit. I kind of summon her when I'm down. So I want to read this one. This one is called Things Mommy Left. And this is from the current book. Mommy left me life, love, and grace. Mommy left me God, who fills up every space. Mommy left me hope. She left and gave me chubs. Mommy left me with dreams and stars that shine up above. Mommy left me with dreams and stars that shine. Mommy's now gone, but I no longer fear the things I cannot know for sure, for God is always near. Mommy left me lineage, history, and books. Mommy left me lineage and a love for Black literature and bell hooks. Mommy left me music, in particular, Negro spiritual. Mommy left me art and jewelry, so many lovely painted murals. When I'm down and despondent, I think of all the lovely things our unselfish mother gave, the teachings of our Hebrew ancestors and descendants of former slaves. Mommy left us truth, always questioned the knowledge, a respect for education, especially Black university and Black colleges. Mommy left us Kathleen Battle, Jesse Norman, and Langston Hughes. Mommy left us common sense, question everything, especially hateful, Caucasian, racist views. Mommy left me Southern soulful recipes and history books, too. Destruction of Black civilization before the Mayflower and from Babylon to Timbuktu. These and many more precious gifts were what our mother left behind and gave. The teachings of our Hebrew ancestors and descendants of former slaves.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much, Cheryl. And Cheryl does have the links in the chat. And so we like to select one of her books or all of them. Thank you. Jill, you're next. I got your link for the chat.
Thank you, Lisa, because you knew I'd never be able to do it. This poem is actually dedicated to Zan, who Cheryl just mentioned a few minutes ago. Zan surprised me with a skillet, something I never had. So that's what I'm going to share from this latest anthology from the garden, and I'm very proud of it. It's called A New Tradition. By the time I was born, instead of cooking, my grandmother made dinner reservations and delicious conversation. Though I'd heard tell stories of chicken fried in a cast iron skillet, someone else's memories of hot cornbread drizzled with honey and the fluffiest biscuits ever slathered with sweet butter. No cast iron skillet in this girl's life, at least not yet. We have our traditions. Celebrating holidays means family, foods prepared by generations of women with open hearts and skilled hands. Matzo balls floating in hearty chicken soup, briskets brimming with carrots and onions in rich, fragrant broth, sponge cakes as light as air, and those Hanukkah latkes, crisp on the edges, soft in the center. No matter how many mom makes, not a single latke is left. No cast iron skillet in this girl's life, at least not yet. But it's about time. Google yard sales near me arrive at sunset, at sunrise, before the best stuff has been picked over. Search tables sink into muddy lawns garish with funny gnomes, pink flamingos, and Christmas lights. At the fourth house, behind cans of SpaghettiOs and organic baby food, I spy a good-sized cast iron skillet. I grab it, place a $5 bill in the palm of the kid babysitting the tables, run to my car, clutching my find in old newspaper. I scrubbed that skillet for an hour, attacking the crust of dirt and rust until my hands are dark brown, sparkling with tiny splinters. I oil it to a beautiful sheen inside and out. Place it in a warm oven to dry. Now there's a skillet in this girl's life, seasoned with love. Jump forward with me 20 years. My beloved niece sets her Sabbath table, assisted by her two little girls, ages 4 and 6. Mama, can we use Aunt Jill's skillet to bake our challah? They chorus. I don't see why not, she replies. Aunt Jill would love that we carry on the tradition she began. Thank you, everyone, for letting me share that this morning.
Thank you, Jill. So that came from a safe and brave space. And did you bring a poem from You Are the Poem?
Oh, I'll be glad to read something from.
That's the link I put in the chat.
Okay. Yes, let me go grab it. Would someone else like to? And then I don't want to
Okay.
hold anybody up.
Well, Barbara will be next. She can go ahead and get started with hers and
Okay,
put
I'll
her
just
link
grab.
in the chat. So Barbara, you're next.
Okay.
And you want to put your link in the chat for your book?
Okay.
Books?
Yeah, so I'll read a poem from Nolcha, my book, and one from my first book.
Okay.
I'm reading one about my mother, and it involves cooking.
We're all going to get hungry.
And I can read, I have a couple poems in here. I don't know. Do I have time to read 3 or?
Yeah, what we're doing is like one from each book. And what we're doing first is we're doing the book that you were bought for the book fair, and then we're going to go around and do each a poem from Safe and Brave Space.
Okay. So this is from Nolcha. Nolcha can't be here. So this is called My Wacky Friend Grief. I find her in my attic rummaging through an old cedar chest filled with broken hearts. She's donned Mom's silky wedding dress, but on her head, Grandpa's fedora. Her shoes, Grandma's slippers. In her hand, some letters tied with a red ribbon. I find her in the breakfast nook crying over spilled coffee or drinking all the liquor while paging through old photo albums. She wails because the loss is new. Years later, wails because she cannot remember. She pours him a cup of coffee daily, places it on an altar for him, next to a photo of a dashing youth, lights a small candle. Another day slips away. The coffee gets cold, the picture fades, the candle burns out. She looks at the altar, can't remember why it's there, but knows someone is missing. Time for another cry. Why is it that some days are sunny, some days are bleak? Some days grief sleeps or just sighs. Why is it that my wacky friend grief never dies? That's from this one. Thank you. So that's from the book I think I registered with.
Okay. And did you want to read one from the other book about your mother?
Oh, okay, sure. Let's see.
Yeah, you can use more than one book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is called Cooking a Life with a Wire Spine. It was kind of a breakthrough poem for me when I was taking a book a memoir writing class while I was compiling these poems and putting them in order. And we were assigned to write, think of our loved one as food, but I thought of my loved one mother as a cookbook with a wire spine. She and I would cook together. And this book won a publication of the month on Spill Words one I think in 2020. I forget which month, August maybe.
Congratulations.
Yeah. The recipe book that Mom assembled in her own hand. The front cover missing. The coffee-stained pages, some partly dislodged from the braided wire spine. Recipes harvested from lineages stuck together by spilled batter. Mistakes, lessons learned the hard way. Trial and error until you got it right, without burning your hands, without blood splatter. Mom, a complex feast of sour and sweet, had her edge. Bitter, black coffee. If provoked, Mom whistled steam and blew her top. Like when I started shaving my legs, dared to wear her lipstick. Even worse, eyeshadow and mascara. Worse yet, miniskirts and halter tops. I took Mom as she was, neither gluten-free nor fat-free, nor sugar-free. She was pie crust made with lard, beef roast trimmed with fat, the crispy skin on the holiday bird, the full plate, no waste. You didn't hide the scrambled eggs behind the radio. You eat it all or you don't eat. Finish your plate. She served us portions Dad could eat. A sin to have skinny kids. She made sure I carried my weight, knowing the dimples of gluten under the skin would repel love and dissuade any dream to be a cheerleader. Mom's soft side, hot cinnamon rolls, fried donuts, spun in sugar, pillowy loaves of white breads hot from the oven, smothered in sticky strawberry kisses. Mother transformed want into wonder, magically feeding 7 insatiable kids on a budget of $100 a month, turning our wines into hot bouillon, stretching homemade pizza onto 12 cookie sheets. Mom's back, tempered cast iron, a spiral wire holding it all together. These recipes of holy perfection. When you cook, you go by the book. I proceeded only with a nod of her head, learned not to overmix the muffins or bake in a naked pan or cut into the sacred loaf before it's ready. No one wants a mismeasured life, a cake that falls, crumbs in your frosting. Taste as you go. Don't just dump it all in. Too much pepper chokes the throat. Like Virginia Slims do, so I dare not smoke or, God forbid, do pot. She would know and rise up like yeasty dough on a steamy summer day to shuck and can me. I watch creamer swirl in my cup and wipe another spill from a page of the recipe book with the wire spine that binds me to her and wonder when, if ever, I can begin to date or learn to drive, to get my own car without her coming to a full boil. So that was that one.
Thank you, Barbara.
That was kind of long. So I
Be
don't know
sure
if
to
you want
put,
to go on to my Safe and Brave Place one. I have
well,
two
we're
in
gonna
the
save that one, so
Save it.
we'll go
Let's
back
save it.
around.
Okay.
But be sure to
Sure.
put the links in the chat for your books.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Jill, you have your poem ready?
I do. Hi, Zan. It's good to see you join us. I do. This poem is actually the very first poem I ever had published, and it sort of became, I guess you'd say, a signature piece for me. I haven't read it in a long time. Some of you know it. It's called Dancing in the Kitchen, and it's from my book, You Are the Poem. And there's a picture of my grandparents, and everyone who remembers the old time black and white movie stars thinks that my grandmother married James Cagney. She didn't, but it is a gorgeous vintage photograph. The story is true. The bride and groom I knew when I was 10 years old, and the bride in this poem is still alive, and she's my mom's still bestie friend after more than 50 years, and she's going to be 89. So I'm happy to share this true story this morning. Dancing in the Kitchen, 60 years together still. They dance in the kitchen like movie stars from 1939. With her eyes closed, she imagines herself to be this man's siren, all heady scents, fiery hair, throaty whispers. She could be a star of the silver screen, alabaster wrists, swan neck, flashing emeralds and rubies, the whisper of her caresses delivered by hands in long satin gloves. With his eyes shut, he could be the UPS man, 25 years old in summer shorts, flashing a devil of a smile. His lips deliver a commanding brush of sea deep kisses that rock her from her toes to her cerebellum and back again. There is music, a solo saxophone drifting in through the open windows, soul stirring on a cool, scented breeze. Icy cocktails are produced. As smooth as slipping skin, he removes her gloves, allowing her fingers to graze the rim of her frosted glass, pluck a briny, glistening olive, place it between his teeth. It's a shabby room, scuffed up floors, a patched screen door, countertops in avocado green. He washes, she dries. That's the way it's always been. Sweet tea and ice cold beer to toast another perfect sunset, as if he had arranged it all just for her pleasure. His face crinkles with that funny lopsided smile she knows so well. He fiddles with an old black radio. Slow, sweet jazz fills the kitchen, spilling into every corner. Crossing the room, he takes her hand. 60 years of Saturday nights, still dancing in the kitchen. Thank you.
You. Next would be Tarani. And if you'd like to put your book in chat.
Oh, yes, I definitely will. Oh, I have to figure out how to make this link shorter. Anyways, I will figure that out and then share it. So this is my book, Brown Sugar Skin, and it really wouldn't exist without the enthusiasm and passion and patience of Nancy. And thank you so much. It's so wonderful to connect with you in person. This book is so special to me because it ended a year of a lot of change in my life. I wrote most of these poems. I wrote a lot of them when I was single, and then suddenly I was married with a child. That's really how it went. I met my husband. We were engaged 2 months later, and we got married 5 months after that. And in the same year, I was pregnant with my daughter. So I wrote a lot of the poems. I hope that at least one poem in the collection will resonate, especially with women. I explore, a variety of topics, but questions about fertility and identity and thinking back to your childhood and motherhood. And it's so funny because I actually write a lot of poems about my mom cooking. I'm not going to read one of those, but it's inspired me to perhaps cook with her. So far, I just eat all the food that she cooks. And we're over at my parents a lot. But I'm going to read a poem that I wrote when I was pregnant with my daughter, and it's called A Crown of Sonnets for What to Expect When You're Expecting. If I hear about their babies once more, I'm not going to do anything but scream. Maybe that will drown out the images, a onesie, blue, pink, or green, I don't care. A breast coaxed into a ravenous mouth, tiny hands curled around my fingertips, lovers' hands on my belly, whispering, "Look what our love made, our small miracle." Our hearts on display outside our bodies, my brown sugar skin with his pale blue eyes. Without complaint, I swear I'd spend my nights wide eyed, still, watching her chest rise and fall. I would rest easy knowing she's safe, but all my friends say I'll never sleep again. All my friends say I'll never sleep again, but I'd give up my dreams in a heartbeat if it means you get to keep yours. My child, 1 in 100. Those are the odds that your tiny lungs and brain won't stand a chance. If you were a flight, we wouldn't risk it. A gamble with no guaranteed winnings, but a 100% chance of me crying at your birth. I would hold you close, soothe your sobs, make you feel safe and wanted. The doctor tells me not to panic yet and not get my hopes up, but I'll love you anyway, for as much time as we have. A kiss, a hug, a lifetime. I'll take it. A kiss, a hug, a lifetime. I'll take it. I'll take you to prom. No date required. No sleepovers. Even if you scream, I'm ruining your life. All I will hear is your life. Coach you white knuckle to dodge a punch, a broken heart, boys and fast cars. I'll teach you to drive, buy you your first thong. You'll choose the cake flavor on my birthday. I'll call you whatever name you choose. You, my surprise quiver in the belly, a hurricane the size of a peanut. Each kick a heart-shaped bruise. I take it back. A sleepover anytime you want. For as long as you live. As long as you live. Thank you so much for letting me share and for sharing your beautiful poems.
And your link is in the chat. I think Nancy and I both put it in there. So Zan, welcome, and you're next. Sorry about that confusion with the room.
I was so confused. Good morning, everybody. Excuse me. It's
Morning.
great to be here. It's very chilly here in Colorado. We got our first real snow in my area. I've changed my mind about 3 times about which poem to share. So I'm gonna follow the lead of all the ladies who pay tribute to their mothers. I'm gonna share a poem that I wrote, which appears in the Dear Heart anthology that Lisa published. And this poem is titled Mother, Tell Me a Story, Yours. And this poem also appears in Encore, my latest collection, which was submitted for Pulitzer consideration by my dear publisher, Lisa Tomei Zonneveld. Thank you, Lisa. It was not selected, but it is still a great honor. I'll put the link in the chat after I read the poem. Mother, tell me a story. Yours. If only you could tell me a story, I would pour us a cup of tea. I would settle into a comfy chair. I would give you all of me. I would listen to every single word. Your life's story should be heard. Tell me all the juicy good stuff. Tell me about when times were rough. Tell me the wildest of your thrills. I want to hear all about your fears. Talk about playing on those red dirt hills during your Mississippi childhood years. Please share the details of falling in love. Were there combatants you had to shove? Were there suitors you unintentionally hurt? What songs and scents ignited your flirt? I want your secrets, lessons, and heart's desires. Share any regrets that oft transpired. I know you have a lot to say. Speak slowly, mother. I'm here to stay. That one gives me all kinds of feelings.
Thank you,
So that
Zan.
was Encore, and I'll put the link in the chat.
Okay.
Did you want me to share from A Safe and Brave Space now, or wait?
We're going to wait for that one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mhm. I'm going to share from my book, Caring for Souls. It has poems in it from some of the people in this room. So I started out the book with poetry and stories from others. And then the latter part of the book were different poems and stories from myself. And then there are also coloring pages and activities and such in the book. I'm going to read I Will Choose Peace, seemed kind of an appropriate one for today. You will end this day, both shoes on the floor, bare toes stretching to the floorboard, comfy pillows under your head. What's the point of complaints when your state of mind takes away from that one possible moment of zen? Blink and you miss it, they say. I say blink and forget it. Let that one soft breeze flowing through your screen comfort you. Too much time spent to idly suffer leaves less time for laughter, leaves less time for joy, and leaves less time for peace. But I can say this, there's always an allowance to suffer. This is caring for souls. Now we're going to switch to, thank you, a safe and brave space. And I'm going to have Nancy. Did I miss something, Nancy?
Hannah's in the room.
Where is Hannah? I know she's in the room, but I can't see her.
I can't see her either. I'm wondering, are you going to read,
There
Hannah?
she is. She's going to read from a safe and brave space.
Okay.
We do
Okay.
that round. And you're going to go first with that, Nancy.
Okay.
And you the
Lisa, I can't read today because if I talk too much, I just
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I know you have a cold, so I'm glad you came.
Okay. So I have two in there, and I'm not really sure which one to read, but I'm going to start with what if. And I have to say, this is one of the most bright and just joyful covers I've ever seen. I want to thank Pratiba for doing this cover, even the backside with everybody's name.
Mhm.
I want to make a scarf out of this. I just think it's so pretty. So pretty. Okay. What if, right? Is that me? Yes. What if, hold on, let me make sure. Yes. What if you woke up in your dream world tomorrow? Would you be happy, relieved, or maybe feel sorrow? What if what you left behind was actually the better life? Would you go back to sleep and wish to wake up right? What if there was a window to step through to try out a different view? Would you want to try it? What would you have to lose? How many times would you gamble, stepping through the window on whims until one day it closes and where you are is where you'll live? Would you be happy with what you have now, knowing what you had before is now gone forever? But what if you knew, like you know that you know that you know, the choices you've made and who you might have been would not and could not change or make better or worse the life nor the person you are now? Would you tempt fate and look through the glass or pass on the view, knowing what it is to be grateful?
Thank you, Nancy.
It's interesting. I don't know how any of you feel, but when you read back over something you wrote a while ago and you think, I wrote this.
Yes.
This is I have one more short one if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kintsugi. I arrived in pieces, broken for so long, many were missing. I found comfort in connection, learning what I needed, and new pieces were formed by women who recognized the empty spaces and filled them with their golden wisdom, not to return me to who I was, but to form me into who I am meant to be. I'd like to dedicate that to all you women in this room right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Lisa. Thank you, Lisa.
Barbara?
Safe and brave.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Oh. So you guys mentioned standing next to the people that voted Trump in, at the store and stuff. So here's my poem. I have been her kind, inspired by Anne Sexton's Her Kind. He's cling wrap on my back. The jackal shadows me in a crowded store. I pick up my pace. Don't run in the social hall, my father, the pastor would admonish. You're coming with me. I play deaf, move away toward the melons, grab a cantaloupe, a cannonball ready to launch. Come out with me now. Mother's teachings, don't make a scene, be a good girl. I quietly sucked up Campbell's cream of people pleaser soup. Second helping served as expected. Go away, please. No one notices the predator and his prey in the baking aisle. Pam spray in the eyes? If I attack him, pour olive oil in his path and push him into a kiosk, scattering cans of mayhem for others to fall injured into the eggs? Who will be arrested? At the checkout, long lines. I'm still not safe. You're going with me. Dad's reminder, and you mustn't show people that you don't like them. My shadow growls. I turn, abruptly face him. My eyes, the knives from aisle 6. Leave me the fuck alone, you fucking asshole. Get out of here. His eyes widen. He stays put off, perplexed. I move even closer to his face. Get the fuck out of here. He looks for support from others, like he doesn't know polite English. You didn't hear me? I point to the door. Bitch, the jackal retreats. The other shoppers, gobsmacked, they cower in the tabloids. That's a true story.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
was at the grocery store. And this guy was trying to abduct me. And I had to stand up for myself. Yeah,
For
true story.
you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Not good for you, but good
I
for
went
you. But
right
you-
up. Fortunately was short like me. So I could go right up to his face very easily. I mean, I invaded his space because he was invading mine. It's like,
Exactly.
get the fuck out.
Wonder Woman
It was
there.
very liberating. And then I
I'll
had
bet.
then I had to complain to management. Nobody was helping me. The clerk was checking everybody out, ignored me completely. No one offered to walk me into my car.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I
That was
just, I just have to say, Barbara, you are my kind of woman. I just loved that. Just pulled me up like 5 inches, and I'm 6'2" without a shoe on. I'm 6'2", but when I just heard that, that made me laugh. It made me smile from the inside. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah. I had to overcome my upbringing, don't make a scene, be nice. And that's what we do. We open the door, we answer the phone. We don't have to. If you look out the people and you don't like what you see, don't open the door.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We don't have to comply.
I say that all the time to my daughter.
Yes,
Just because somebody knocks, you don't have to open the door.
exactly.
And I demonstrate that as well.
And they say, you're coming with me. You don't have to.
Mm-mm. No.
So I've always had this, all you have to do is be nice,
Right.
all you have to do is be nice. And I've decided that translates to, but all you have to do to be nice translates to is take my shit and pretend it doesn't bother you.
Right. Right.
I'm
Submit.
done with that. Yeah.
Submit.
Yeah.
Which is, what this is a contemporary issue right now.
Yeah.
Don't get me started, but
Cheryl, would you like to share from Safe Gray Space? You are on mute.
Thanks, Lisa. I'm going to do a happier one because I can't do any more sad today. But anyway, this poem is called Autumn Makes Me Long for Summertime. And it's so appropriate because we're autumn is upon us. So that's why I'm going to do it. It's in a safe and brave space. We're headed for cooler temperatures, but I can't help but think about warmer weather and happier times. Summer and family reunions. Now, those were the best of times. Seeing all of your favorite relatives, especially the older. No one hugged you like Aunt Laura. Uncle Rudy dancing was our favorite family reunion highlight. He could move and dance anyone. He could move and outdance anyone in the younger generation. His body had a James Brown magic, and we all loved watching him dance. There was homemade ice cream with old-fashioned pound cake. Everyone gathered around watching the card games while the adults talked much card game trash. I remember family celebrating our origins and thankful that we could all meet for a happy occasion. There wasn't a safer time to party it up and not feel guilty for eating way too much of all of the wrong things. It wasn't illegal to drink spirits out in the open then. Uncle Thomas always drank way too much. This always meant he and his wife were going to give us kids an earful of PG-16 language. She never let that poor guy get too loose. Family reunions were a time for celebrating lineage, bloodlines, and family love. Memories of summertime make me feel warm and safe. The Wallace clan had our share of real characters, but those family reunions were epic and adventurous. Autumn makes me remember Uncle Rudy dancing, and I smile for a very long while.
Beautiful. Thank you. Oh, family gatherings. Love it. Something we don't do enough in our family. Zan, I think you're next.
Okay, from A Safe and Brave Space, I'm going to share. It's a longer poem, and it was written for my niece, Stacy, who was diagnosed with breast cancer last year. And when it was time to submit a poem, I thought this is perfect. Talk about a safe and brave journey that Stacy faced. Lisa, I don't know if it's gonna show up, the picture, the the drawing that Lisa did to accompany my poem. It's found on page 67. I'm gonna read Healing Touch for Stacy Jackson. And I wrote this after my sister Karen talked about going over to Stacy's house every day to massage her aching body. I said, "You've got healing hands." So this is titled Healing Touch for Stacy Jackson. May the force of your mother's hands destroy the scornful cells in your pain-stricken body. May your senses dance to the rhythm of implicit hope. Her hands embody the soul of our ancestors, the bold resilience of our mother, the tenacity of our grandmother. Her resolve is a ferocious militia. Her hands are on a mission. They've got some healing to do. They've got some comforting to do. Even more, they've got some loving to do. Medicinal and magical. Your mother's certainty and knowing, determination, stamina, prayers, disparaging fears, dominated by trust. May her healing touch awaken the warrior spirit of the dancing doll whose strut took no prisoners. May her hands arouse the soul and sass of the most beautiful sensation I've known. May your alter ego step in and take charge. She knows you better than I. Take her with you to the battlefield. Put her on the front lines. Ask her to fight with all her might. Listen closely for her firm yes. The silent rage of your body's attacker is no match for God's amazing grace. No doubt the beast is abusive. No doubt the veracity of God's great power. Untether yourself from doubt or despair. There's beauty beyond the thorns, joy beyond the pain, triumph beyond the trial. You are God's child, loved and cared for unconditionally. Hear our faithful roars from the sidelines, near and far. Your prayer warriors are on the JOB. We are agitated. We are brave. We detest your enemy. We know your Savior. We trust his will. Let the healing begin. And I have to share that Stacy is cancer free.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Thanks for that beautiful drawing, Lisa. It's perfect.
Oh, my pleasure. The thing I love to do is draw pictures for people. I'm going to actually read one of Hannah's contributions to Safe and Brave Spaces. She's got a cold. I think she may have inherited mine. So sorry, Hannah. It's called School as Sanctuary. The doors were locked from the inside, making the assistant principal angry as hell. Too bad my students come first. Safety is key. No bullies, no bullying permitted in my classroom, ever. Sensitive souls in the throes of puberty are at work here in this classroom, my classroom, a haven for every child. Middle schoolers, the ones I vowed I'd never teach, have taught me they are the most vulnerable group. They need someone waiting for them when they arrive home from school, or they will wail, no one has one child. As one child did when asked, who cares for you at home? That broke my heart, and I wondered how many others feel the same going home to an empty house. Home should be their primary haven. When it is not, school can be, should be that safe place, a sanctuary. I made sure that my classroom was that place. I can imagine being in Hannah's classroom as a student. I would feel super blessed. Because I know Hannah well. And she has a heart of gold. I'm going to sing. I'm going to sing. No, I'm not. I won't put you through that. I'm going to read Dance, Dance. This is like one of my contributions to Safe and Pray Space. Dancing was big in our family. Our parents loved to dance on weekends at the NCO club, sometimes taking us. They were like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers as they slid over the floor, feet lit on clouds, gazed stars in each other's eyes. They star danced to melodies, captured what they needed. Flickers started into flames. We were born like stair steps into a new season. Their love journeyed on into each other's arms. Dance, dance, let your shiny black shoes glow as you bounce to the tunes, as your dress and suit coat flow. Dance, dance, let your eyes catch the gaze as the night moved on into the golden haze. Let us dance. And this concludes our book fair and poetry book club. Thank you all so much. We won't be having a poetry book club till probably maybe January. Nancy's going to take over poetry book club. And please remember, if you have a book of poetry coming out, let Nancy or myself know so we can get you hooked up into the book club. I've kind of run out of people, so kind of start fresh next year. So I know I have some authors who have some books coming out, so maybe we'll be able to catch somebody then. So, but thank you all so much for coming out today.
Thank you all. Thorani, so good to see and hear your voice. That was so
It's
cool.
wonderful,
And
wonderful.
the baby.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing her.
Thank you,
You all-
everybody.
Thank you
We
all.
needed this positive experience this morning.
Yes, yes,
Have
we
a-
certainly
Have a really
did.
nice
Thank you all.
Thanksgiving later in the month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Open mic with Barbara on the third Tuesday, so
yeah.
make sure you bring it.
Yeah,
Um,
bring it.
bring it, bring it,
More
bring it.
chances to read poetry.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
right. The 13th, open mic. And that's at what time?
We do it at noon
That's
Eastern
Noon
Eastern.
Eastern.
on the
All
19th
right.
of this month. Yes.
Right.
All
And do you
right.
need to sign up for that?
Yeah, we do. We will. Yeah, register.
There's signups.
with
I'll
the
make
Zoom
sure
link.
all of you get one, and yeah, it'll be on Facebook and in the garden and all those places. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, awesome. See you then. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Everybody.